this is a prototype right now. It might change, but this is my. That usually we put like Starbucks in there because the caffeine molecule has a lot of energy.
Fly on, drop a weekly, game strong, he the king, how-tos and reviews, got the people tuned in, these rides the channel where the engines ignite, stay for the thrills, dog, look for the flight, these rides, these slides hitting the pavement, every gear shifting, never feeling detainment, from the streets to the tracks, living life loud, in the car world, D wearing the crown.
I'm an 80s baby, right? So I'm a huge fan of movies like The Breakfast Club, E.T., and more importantly, Back to the Future. So I think I found the best replica of that car. And we're going to talk to the owner of that car right now, to my man, Glenn. How are you doing today?
Are we rolling?
We are rolling.
All right.
All right, everybody, real quick, this is Glenn. He owns this beautiful 1982 DeLorean. This thing is beautiful. He is here at the Washington, D.C. Auto Show with the Teresa Sandra Jacobs Foundation, and he is going to tell you a little bit about his partnership with that and how this car came to be. So on to you there, Glenn.
All right. Well, let's see. Let's start about 7 years ago. Somehow I got this compulsion to bid on eBay on this particular car, and I ended up winning the auction, and that's when the adventure started. It was a turnkey. It was in good condition, had a number of different engine upgrades, performance cams, headers, Spec 2 exhaust, and sounded great. When I heard the engine, I was emotionally compromised. We went forward with a sale, took it to a number of car shows, first number of years that I had it. That's when I occasionally would run into Eric and his different things that he was doing in his cars. Eventually I ended up at Cars and Coffee that he has out in Dulles Landing, and we got to talking, and I kind of started hearing his concept and his ideas. In the meantime, I was building this car out. You start with like one Halloween, I thought, hey, most of the prop, I have it. Why not just put a flux capacitor on it, put it in the driveway for the kids for Halloween, do the Back to the Future theme, some cardboard and some paint, get something built up. And then the next year, it was something else, and there was a slippery slope. As you can see, I kept going.
Everybody, take a look at this. Like, this is, I'm at a loss for words. So where did you get everything that you see here, or was it already? So this is basically my interpretation. There are guys that do replicas, and they do excellent work, but it's very strict in where you source and the dimensions and everything. Because of the way I approached it, each year was a layer, and it was basically my interpretation of what I wanted it to be, using what I had at hand, which were Arduino microcontrollers, 3D printing, leaned heavily into 3D printing. That was especially after COVID, or during the COVID years. I tore it down and rebuilt it using microcontrollers for the lighting effects, and a little bit of Amazon in there. I've got to be honest. I used a lot of CAD, Tinkercad and stuff to CAD stuff up, custom CAD work for the 3D printing. That's kind of where this leads back to Eric, and we kind of looked at this as an opportunity for STEAM education, because there's a lot of elements in this that apply to STEAM and inspiring kids on that side of things, and like, how do you make something like this? And so I set up some boards that explain the process and how you might CAD something up, how you print it, and how you might implement it in a design like this. There's an artistic side to it. And then, interestingly enough, the programming for this on the Arduino is like an educational, pretty simple platform, microcontroller platform that a lot of people are familiar with, and it's very affordable. So what I did is produced another board that showed the process of the programming, the design, how the Arduino is kind of like a little brain that will operate things based on the instructions you give it, and then how that will talk to these, we call them MOSFETs. They're switches that the
the microcontroller uses to turn the lights on and off. Interestingly enough, this last set of rebuild that I did, I used ChatGPT
Great Scott!
to write my subroutines. So again, that kind of applies to education and the way things are going in our technology, that I thought this would be really great, to bring this here, and with the theme of TSJ and what they're doing there in Foundation, which is fantastic to inspire kids towards STEAM and education. So basically I wired this thing up to be lit up all this week, and put it on display and just have a blast. And I appreciate the time for this interview.
All of these components that you see here, where did you source them from?
Oh, okay.
Like your Mr. Fusion and all that.
Okay. So Mr. Fusion is actually something that I got on. It's a replica I got on Amazon. All this here, these are 3D printed parts. I CAD'd that up in Tinkercad. These are wires that came off my car when I replaced my wires. But you need high voltage wires for a time machine, obviously. And then these little units here, these aren't movie spec, but they're Tesla coil replicas, and even with a wire winding in there. And I've got these things that represent plasma flow, and these are neon style LED strips that are in there. This piece here, which is special to me, this came out of an old plasma TV, and I thought, yeah, I can make a time machine. I can fashion something for a time machine out of that. And all this stuff is active electronics sitting in here. These switches are actually working. This foil is part of the circuit. And this is our club, DMV DeLorean Club, which is a fantastic group of guys. We have tech days and stuff like that. All this is 3D printed.
That is amazing.
There's a lot of stuff I can get from DeLorean in Texas, and also I had some things that I got from DeLorean Go in Europe. Depends on what it is. For instance, a water pump kit, I had to replace a water pump as the first thing I think that went wrong with it, where I had to pull the intake manifold up and everything get in there. And I got a really nice kit from DeLorean in Texas. Another thing that I had to do, where I had to replace all my coolant lines. I blew a coolant hose. When you're driving along and your temperature gauge is pegged, it's like, stop the car.
This front bumper, beautiful. Is this also 3D printed?
Oh yeah. So this is these brackets are 3D printed. This is actually PVC, because it's rigid enough. And then underneath I've got 3D printed brackets that attach to the grill mounting bolt.
I see them.
So one of the things to note, that one of my engineering design parameters was to not drill into the stainless and not make permanent changes or knock the windows out. So I can revert this back in about 40 minutes, not including cleanup, but I can give it a stock look. I can put the louvers back on, so I can back a lot of this stuff out.
Well, check that out, everybody. He has the hoverboard.
Oh yeah, now the batteries are dead on these, so it's not working. But usually we can just like stand on it and hover along the car.
The Flux capacitor, that's probably the most notable piece on the DeLorean.
It's what makes time travel possible.
I was looking for that. I was hoping you'd say that.
Yeah, on cue.
This
yes.
is beautiful. I like that.
So
take a look at that.
Now this one is a little bit of a unicorn in that it's got the plasma flow animation in there. It's not only do you have the LED sequencing, but now we've got the blue arcing as well, and that's also Arduino manufactured. And I think I did have ChatGPT help me or accelerate my process. Now everything in the back here is actually working. That's actually that's my fuse box that I lifted up. I just thought I needed more lights on it.
Right.
And then those relays on the side are actually accessory relays. They've been set up specifically so it only activates the display electronics when I'm doing a display like this. So, because you have to disconnect your main battery. This enables me to run the lighting in the car without having the ignition system activated.
Nice. Where in the world did you get this?
Oh, that's a replica time computer that is sold online, and it's a really, really nice kit. You just got to kind of bolt it together. Unfortunately, I did something to it 2 months ago where I fried all the boards.
Okay.
I don't know how
that looks good.
But what I did is I had to replace the each one of these has a controller that runs the display, so I had to replace those.
Oh, jeez.
It's a little surface mount chip, and then I reprogrammed it to talk to these displays. And what it does is it randomly will reset the time. It's really for this show because I knew I wasn't going to be punching in numbers, but I wanted to reset every so often. And I call this now a quantum time computer because it's predicting a future date that we have to go to stop some point in history from happening. There's something that's going to happen. So this is our departure date that we have to go to.
Oh man, we got less than a couple weeks.
Yeah. So we got to pack a lunch, get ready to go.
On this over here, you even got the noise, the kind of voltage noise.
Yeah, this is flux overflow management here. You see the distributor, it starts in this sequence here, and this is part of the animation. You got to trigger it. When it goes full out, that's called berserker mode. That's a subroutine name. The Arduino's sitting right underneath there. I've got a couple little Easter eggs in terms of logos. Like this is our...
that's Marvel, isn't it?
That is Marvel, yes. And since Christopher Lloyd also was a Klingon commander in Search of Spock, I have, as a nod to that, I've got the Klingon Empire logo as my...
Yeah, look at that. That is crazy.
And one other little thing. I don't know if you're a fan of The Fifth Element.
Yes.
Right in there. Zorg. Yeah, you gotta love Zorg, man.
I got multipass.
I love that character.
This is beautiful. Beautiful.
No, it's pretty good. I'm sure I'm going to think of something else. Like I have some things I'm going to set up in these flux bands that I think I can get a little bit more. There's an arcing effect.
Okay.
Why not?
You gotta have the arcing
Why
effect.
not?
Now these little levers back here. Do these actually work?
Indeed, they do. I'm glad you asked. Each one of these, for instance, this one here is for my my nav lights. Mm-hmm. So since this vehicle flies, you got to have navigation lighting. So it clicks on my nav lights.
Oh.
Yeah, FAA got after me. so I got to put those on.
All right.
And then here, this turns on different modes of flashing.
Nice.
That's a technical term. Now we're at flash mode.
Oh, geez. And these
Number
guys
3.
right here, do they do anything? Or
Indeed they do. So this one here is going to turn on my mister. And then this is a speed control for the fan. This light tells me when I've filled the thing up to the top, don't go any further. And then this is how I put actual, this is a prototype right now, it might change. But this is my, that usually we put like Starbucks in there because the caffeine molecule has a lot of energy. But typically I put water in there and that'll start my mister up. And then it also blows mist out. I should get that working so you can get a good shot of that. And these buttons here, this, when it's flipped up, switches over to the AC power supply. Mm-hmm. Flip it down and it's on my battery, auxiliary battery. Okay. And then this is the master power switch. So if you want to turn the reactor off, if it's overheating, if we're going to go into meltdown, beep, it shuts it off.
Nice.
So it's emergency stop.
This is the most realistic Back to the Future DeLorean I think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever enjoyed looking at a DeLorean more than I have this one. All right, everybody. So, Glenn, thank you very much for sharing your passion here with this DeLorean, the 1982 DeLorean. This thing is beautiful, and you are going to be the star of the show here in the next day or two once the show actually begins.
Wow, TSJ. You look at everything that they have here. All the different technology, everything that they've done, the robotics, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. Holograms, I mean, there's so much stuff here, guys.
Nikola Tesla, I had a conversation with him. I asked him how he made ball lightning. He wouldn't let me know. He's keeping that to himself. But
so if you guys come here to the Washington Auto Show, make sure you guys come down to the basement because this is where the magic is. Everything that Glenn has talked about is down here towards the back. As soon as you come down the escalator, just keep walking maybe 100 yards and you'll see it over to the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Everything is All right, guys. Well, take it easy, and remember, everyone deploying. And I am out.